Okay, my friend, so we are currently editing my second book, Dying with Regrets. So this part, we're going to be speaking about how I got really focused and really clear clarity for exactly where I was heading in my life, and then how I committed to saying that I'm going to do whatever it takes to actually build that life and create that life. So this chapter is called Setting My G.P.S. In life, we cannot hit a target that we cannot see. So I figured out that I needed to write down exactly what I wanted with extreme clarity. I was listening to a podcast that explained the benefits of setting our GPS in life. For instance, if you were on that flight from London to New York, before you took off, the pilot would first need to set the GPS. When setting the GPS, it only needs two pieces of specific information: the current location of where you are and a pinpoint location of exactly where you are going. The pilot cannot enter London to America and expect to arrive in New York because America is a very big place. Just like in life, you need to have extreme clarity for where you're heading and where you ultimately want to be. Because if you don't, then you will drift aimlessly throughout life with no sense of purpose or direction, and you'll eventually become lost. Just imagine a boat out at sea without a clear set of coordinates and no port of call. It will sail around in circles with no direction until it runs out of fuel. When this happens, it has lost all sense of control to decide its direction, and its course will then be dictated by the winds and the tides. But just remember that it's the same winds which blow us all, and it's never too late to reset your sails. Excuse me. Understand that lack of clarity brings uncertainty, and uncertainty will create a lack of confidence. With a lack of confidence comes a lack of action, and with a lack of action also comes a lack of results. Confidence comes from the results which are gained from first taking the uncomfortable action steps. Confidence is the trust in one's abilities to figure things out. Confidence is a Latin word, confidere, meaning intense trust. If you don't trust that you understand your own direction of travel in life, then who else will? Because you can't ask others for support or direction to an unknown destination. GPS stands for Goal, Plan, See. Goal, write down exactly what you want. Plan, get extremely clear on how you're going to get it. See, start to visualize the life that you want every single morning when you open your eyes. Because you need to first create the life you want in your mind with the greatest of detail, so that you begin to normalize the feeling of already living the life that you want. After hearing this, I concluded that sometimes not getting the things that we want instantly is a blessing, as it gives us the chance to take a step back and confirm with ourselves what we really want. I decided to buy another journal specifically for my life plan, so this way I could set my own GPS by writing it out on paper. There and then I dedicated myself to lifelong learning and confirmed that I would do whatever it takes to achieve my own version of success and true happiness. I had created my very own compelling future. My goal was now tangible and I could physically see it in front of me. Know that unwritten goals are just wishes because they lead to confusion, mistakes and misdirection. I can now focus on taking small daily actions which would move me closer to where I'm heading in life. At first, I really believed that I had to take this huge leap in order to achieve any type of success, but I soon realised that it was the small and frequent steps which were the most important. By focusing on the top of the ladder, your goals can feel unattainable and unachievable, which will cause you to remain stagnant, and you'll fail to take the first and most important steps. We can sometimes set the bar too high, and when we do not reach that target, we choose to give up completely. Look, I'm not saying to dilute your dreams, but I'm saying that you need to set multiple goals in your life. Have a huge, scary goal, but don't forget the smaller goals on the way to the big one. Ask yourself these 3 questions. Where do I want to go? Why do I want to go there? Why do I want to get there? What is stopping me? Just remember that the real reward of life is the journey and not the destination. and it's direction which is way more important than speed. So focus on taking those small and repeated steps on your ladder of life, as these continuous small improvements will compound over time to eventually become the huge improvements. Stay committed, concentrate on the next couple of steps in front of you, and stay consistent. Things can and will change along the journey, so you must stay malleable. Be flexible with your route, but obsessed with your destination, knowing that anything is possible when your actions are in alignment with your life's mission. You have to see yourself living your dream every day by practicing visualization, because if you can't see what you're trying to hit, then the attainment of that goal comes down to luck and chance. Realize that your imagination is a preview of what's to come, because every single thing that has ever been created has been created twice, once in the mind and once in reality. So trust the process and don't rush the process. Next chapter, not settling for a pretty good life. When I was depressed, I can now look back and say I was quite ungrateful for all the amazing things I still had in my life. Because I had clothes on my back, shoes on my feet, and a roof over my head, which was a whole lot more than others around the world had. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as saying that the majority of my mental health issues could have been down to having too many materialistic things and too much choice. What an amazing time it is to be alive for all of us. If you are privileged enough to be reading this book, then you have the ability to make choices, and that is a blessing, because many people around the world don't have choice as an option. You are living in a world of choice, and every choice you make makes you. If you come to a crossroads in your life, your choices are not just left or right. Sometimes you can be completely overwhelmed with choice, because you can also keep going forwards, turn around and go backwards, or remain in the exact same position. And whatever you decide to do is entirely up to you. Just remember that every choice you make has an outcome, and by not making a choice, there is only one certain outcome, which is to remain in the exact same position. Don't think about it for too long, as you will end up overthinking to the point of procrastination, where you remain stagnant and fail to make any choice at all. Not making a choice is a choice to remain the same. There is no right or wrong decision, because with every decision you make, you'll move forward. You'll either get what you do want or get what you don't want, and there are benefits for both. This is because every time you get what you don't want, you end up moving one step closer to what it is that you do want. Don't spend your priceless time overthinking whether you will make the wrong or right decision. Do just enough research to make a decision, pick one, and then make that specific decision the right decision. In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing, and the next best thing you can do is the wrong thing, and the worst thing you can do is nothing. After I began to practice daily gratitude for everything I currently had in my life improved substantially. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't aspire to be, do and have more in your life. You can still be happy and grateful for where you currently are, but also excited for where it is that you're going. Just remember to appreciate every single step of the way. The good, the bad, and everything in between. Because imagine that you woke up tomorrow with only the things you were grateful for today. When I was in a bad place, I put all my energy into trying to change the past and focus on all the things that I didn't want in my life. However, once I started to focus on the good and focus on the things that I did actually want, I noticed that the positives began to magnetically come my way. Just remember that what you focus on expands. I'm so grateful for everyone and everything I have in my life. Nevertheless, I refuse to settle for just a pretty good one, which made me become positively dissatisfied with my life. The truth is that we only have one of these precious lives, so why would we want to live it just feeling pretty good for the majority of our priceless time? Remember that good is the enemy of great, and it's progress which equals happiness. With this being said, I will never ever meet my future self, as he is always one step ahead of me. Every time I close the gap between us, he moves just that little bit further away. Think of it this way. My dream life is just like the horizon. The closer that I get to it, the further it moves away. I will never reach my dream life, because when I achieve one goal, I instantly give myself another one to go after. You too can also have your dream life by taking control of your current life and steering it in the direction of your desired destination. You must put yourself first. You must put yourself first and do the things that are purposeful for you, because no one cares about your life more than you do. So make that decision right now to always put your health and your happiness first. This isn't selfish. Just think about what they say when you are on an aeroplane that loses cabin pressure. Put your own mask on first. This is to ensure that you are at your optimum, which in return will increase your ability to then help others. Because the truth is, you can't give what you don't have. I'm going to skip this little bit here. From then on, every time I was about to make a choice, I would ask myself questions like, is this going to benefit my future self? And is this getting me closer to or further away from my goals? By thinking like this and asking myself these questions, it allowed me to become much more disciplined, which in return made me more productive by focusing on prioritizing and completing the needle-moving actions. Every type of freedom you've ever had in your life has come from the price of discipline and sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice for what you want, then what you want becomes the sacrifice. And to do what others can't, you must first do what others won't. If you don't like the way your life is going, you are the only one who can change it. And you can never be upset with the results that you didn't get from the action that you didn't take. Happiness comes from what we do. Fulfillment comes from why we do it. So I'm going to end this one here, my friends. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to get yourself on the wait list, join dyingwithregrets.ryannurse.com or send me a DM and I'll hook you up. See you on the next one, my friends. Bye-bye.